Welcome to Cardinal Perspectives, a series featuring in-depth conversations with alumni, students, faculty, staff, and the extended family and community of the Catholic University of America. My name is Tyra Wilson, Athletics Advancement Coordinator at Catholic University. Today, I'm pleased to introduce this episode of Cardinal Perspectives featuring Steve Rahn, Director of Cross Country and Track and Field, and James Higgins, Assistant Director of Leadership Annual Giving for Athletics. Steve Rahn is a director of cross country and track and field at Catholic University in his 8th season leading the Cardinals programs. With more than 20 years of coaching experience, Rahn has guided Catholic's cross country and track and field teams to consistent success in the Landmark Conference, including multiple conference championships, NCAA qualifiers, all-region honorees, and standout individual performances across both men's and women's squads. His leadership has helped elevate the program's national standing, with athletes earning top regional rankings and competing on the NCAA stage while also achieving academic distinction. Steve brings a deep passion for developing student athletes both on the course and on the track, and he continues to make a measurable impact on the Cardinal distance and field programs. Let's get into the conversation today.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I have the pleasure to be joined by head track and field coach Steve Rahn. Steve, thanks for taking some time out of your day to join us.
It's my pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, first wanted to start off, Steve, you're in your 8th year here at Catholic University. Is there a particular moment that stands out to you from your time here so far?
It's so hard to take the thousands of moments in the last, 7.5 years and like narrow it down.
Yeah.
Things that definitely stand out. The conference championship titles, 2 for women's cross, and then the 1 for women's track. Those are absolutely special. I think to go back to back for women's cross, it was an extremely difficult task for them. It was a super close. That second championship was so close with everybody. 2 teams were 1 and 2 points behind us, so it came down to literally everybody. That was very, very special. And then to win the program's first ever women's track and field title in school history was phenomenal. It took 45 years to do that. And literally everybody in every single event group, that was a wonderful feeling too. And then seeing the greater successes too of people reaching their goals and personal bests, whether that's on just a regular meet or championship level, NCAA level.
Yeah.
When we've had 25 national qualifiers in my time here, and then I think it's 13 All-Americans, 1 national champion.
Yeah.
That was incredible as well. So it's really hard to just narrow it down to one moment.
Sure. No, that's a lot to speak of, and I really think over the last 3 or 4 years, you guys have had a lot of success, all of your teams, cross country, track and field, both on the men's and the women's side. And speaking of that, I really feel like you guys have had a lot of positive momentum since the fall of 22 into the spring of 23 and onward,
Right.
and into now. What are, I know we touched on some of those highlights, but is there a highlight that sticks out from a team perspective that goes into it, and then also an individual perspective as well?
Yeah, I think going back to those team titles, I think that's really the big highlight for the team accomplishments.
Yeah.
I think also the men, the first time we finished runner up in the conference on the track, was phenomenal. The guys worked so hard, and to see us go from the perennial bottom of the conference to now, we're something to be reckoned with in the conference. It's when you get to see it on a daily basis of all the work that they put in, and then the individuals, watching and recruiting Christian DiNicolantonio, you know that there was something special there. You always have those conversations of what could possibly happen. It just has to happen on the day. I was lucky enough to be in the coaching box with him during that national title. His vault coach, his flight got delayed and then canceled, so he wasn't able to make it. So, I I have wonderful coaches, and then sometimes I just need to step in and help them out.
Yeah.
Even though that's not my specific area that I coach, and just to be there for the 4-hour competition and see all the emotions that he felt during that entire process. It was really really awesome to see him achieve his ultimate goal.
Absolutely. And for those who don't know out there, Christian DiNicolantonio, as a junior in 2023, was an individual national champion. So a great accomplishment and remarkable feat for not only him, but for the program and for you as well to coach an athlete of that caliber. So definitely something super noteworthy for the program and for the athletic department as a whole. I think it was tremendous.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he definitely put in the work to get there, and it didn't come out of the blue.
Absolutely.
Exciting.
You've talked a lot about the success of teams and individuals. What is something, going forward for this year and onward that you can lean on from the past in terms of team development and success under your leadership that you're really hoping will continue this year?
Yeah, so we have 2 new additions to the coaching staff
Hmm.
this year that I'm really really excited about. Coach JT Klopsick,
Hmm.
he is the associate head cross country and assistant track and field. He's in charge of the distance athletes.
Hmm.
And Coach Izzy Fabrizio, she's the associate head track and field, assistant cross country, and she's in charge of all the throwing events. Both of them are phenomenal human beings, number one, and they provide so much to the team culture and to the athletes. They truly care, and not just about our athletes, but they're super involved in the rest of the university. And so I think I'm really excited about having the 2 of them aboard. And I've known Coach JT for many years now. He used to coach at Goucher College, and so um, we were talking last year and about this position, and then he reached out to me over the summer and said he was interested. So
Awesome.
yeah, I mean it's been phenomenal. He's done a phenomenal job. It's not easy switching uh, distance coaches and having immediate success, but he came in and hit the ground running, for lack of better terms, and
No pun intended.
yeah, no pun intended. But he's done a phenomenal job leading the group, and both Coach JT and Coach Izzy have we're on the same page. We're very driven. We have big goals for the team and individuals, and so we're looking for um, the team to just continue to build and grow and in their own ways. Meet them where they are, and whatever their goals are. That's what we're here to accomplish. And then recruiting piece as well.
Yeah.
Like bring in more people that can have a bigger impact, and both on and off the track, and have success, with team culture and academics and post grad as well.
Awesome. You touched on something which is very important, the recruiting piece.
Yeah.
You have, outside of football, you have the largest roster in the department. Obviously, between the men and the women, you have close to what, 100 athletes, student athletes?
Yeah, it's close to that.
Sure.
Mhm.
So only football is bigger. What strategies do you use to help both, the recruits and the current student athletes thrive as individuals?
Yeah, I mean, just getting to know them,
Sure.
not just what their goals are and where they're coming from, but then also just what makes them tick.
Sure.
I think that's super important, especially during the recruiting process. We're not, I think Division III is wonderful in that.
Hmm.
We're not here to just sell a program.
Right.
We're here to sell the entirety of their experience.
Right.
Academics, athletics, personal life, internships, and there's just so much to do. And so I think getting to know them on an individual basis, it's extremely difficult with a team of this size and how many kids we tend to recruit.
Right.
But I have a wonderful coaching staff who is there as well to do the same for their groups, and we're always in communication about those.
What's your biggest recruiting strategy? You obviously have to manage a lot of recruits every year with a lot of people shuffling out the door, needing to replace those roster spots. How do
Yeah.
you manage that while also managing a large roster and making sure you still have enough young men and women to shuffle in and out each year to fill the roster?
I think the proper term is grind.
Sure.
You don't. I think a lot of people just think we're here for practices and then we just go home.
Right. Yeah.
But it's a constant. We're 24 hours a day, profession where even if I have practice from 5 to 7:30 and then I have to drive home after that, I'm on the phone with however many recruits it takes me to get home, and then it continues from there. I think it's just it's a grind. It's just consistency, um, making sure that they understand the value that they're going to get here, the return on investment that they're going to get, and then how the entire family is going to be involved in the sport. We have a lot of parents who are very involved. We have tailgates that we do, one during cross country, one during the indoor season at our home invitational at PG Sports and Learning that we just had this past weekend. And then we'll do another one for senior day in outdoor season where we have, tons of families come down and experience. So it's not just, them being involved, and it's also involving their entire family.
Awesome. No, that's great. And touching on that, with involving the entire family, are there any values or attitudes specifically that are most important to you in shaping the culture of the team?
Yeah, we talk about those pillars, those cultural pillars of being super supportive of one another. Track and field can feel like a very individualistic sport.
Right.
Whatever you put into it, you're going to get out of it. But at the same time, your training partners are very important to your success, and you are very important to their success. And you might come in and have a bad day. It might be a really rough day in class, and you might have some things going on, but then you'll have your teammates picking you up and supporting you. And so that's what we talk to recruits a lot about is that's the number one thing is support.
Right.
Being supportive of everybody and allowing people to support you as well. Aside from that, you have to be dedicated.
Yeah.
To both your academics, but then also your craft.
Sure.
So whatever that is, it's throws, pole vault, distance, sprints, hurdles, jumps, everything you have to be super dedicated to. And then, willingness to communicate. Kevin is really big into communication, and as he should be, because we don't understand where you're coming from unless you can communicate it to us.
Right.
And we tell them all the time, like in practices, we can't feel what you're feeling unless you can tell us, and then we can adjust from there. And so I think just making sure that they understand communication is a huge factor in that. Those are the big pieces for us.
That's great. This is your 8th year now, so you've obviously had a bit of time here. How would you define your long-term vision for Catholic University track and field going forward? And what was that like when you started, and how have you seen that play out over the course of your 8 years here?
Yeah, I mean, I came from some very successful programs in the past, and so when I first got here, the vision for the program has always been the same, is getting as many team titles and individuals qualifying for the national championship, All-Americans, as we can. And in order to do that, we need to see every single person putting in the work and reaching their individual goals. It doesn't help one individual to be around, a team who isn't driven and who isn't, looking for that same success. That doesn't just pop out of nowhere. Christian, absolutely, he owns his own success, but he did it also with a lot of other teammates who were just as driven.
Right.
And so it's just fueling each other. So the vision is to continue to win team titles, to continue to um, get as many people to their goals as possible, and then as many people to the national championships and All Americans. The ultimate title would be a NCAA
Yeah,
trophy.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. Couple more here. Switching gears a bit to the alumni side.
Mhm.
Obviously, with a big program comes more alumni, and obviously, the program didn't have this roster size until fairly recently. So
Right.
it's not like it's football where it's always been a bigger roster, but
Yeah.
still a lot of alum to talk about and discuss. Do you have a particular moment or story that highlights the ongoing connection between your alumni and the team?
Yeah. So one of my first few years, I think it might have been my second year here. Um, I had a few people reach out who used to run cross country, and they wrote letters to our freshmen on the team at the time to congratulate them and just for them to be engaged in and understand what's going on the team after being removed for 20 plus years is just phenomenal. The level of support still that alumni give to people that they've never met before, maybe, and we see a lot more alumni coming to events now. We had a lot of alums show up at our meet on Saturday.
It's awesome.
We have people that will just stop by.
Yeah.
They're in the area and they just want to come by. It's just an incredible thing to experience. When we have alums just stopping by, whether it's at a big event, football event, or just out of practice. We've had people from California stop by and just talk to the team and tell stories. And, I think that's really, I think that has had the most amount of impact.
That's tremendous. That's tremendous. And I think that speaks to the bond of what Catholic athletics is as a whole, but also your program and the culture that you've built. So that's really great.
Yeah.
In your view, what are the lasting benefits of competing at the collegiate level?
Yeah, the lasting benefits. I mean, we talk about this a lot as track and field coaches. I think sport in general, you can take all those lessons that you've learned in your sport and apply those after you graduate. Understanding that you're going to, come across a lot of adversity in your life. And we talk about how life doesn't get easier. You just get better at handling it,
right,
and stronger. And so I think, just with adversity alone, and then the closeness of your teammates, making sure that you keep those bonds, and we're seeing a lot of those with past alums, whether it's marriages or just connections, hanging out together. It's really, really great to see. I think it's very important for them to understand how to deal with adversity, but then also how to structure and prioritize your schedules. I mean, I think it's really important to understand how to do that as an adult.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of it comes down to time management.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Last one here for you. What are some meaningful ways that alumni can give back to Catholic athletics and some big things that are ahead for the track and field program?
Yeah,
and cross country as well.
Of course, yeah. Aside from reaching out and even mentoring some of our student athletes, that goes a very, very long way. Coming and supporting, writing letters even to the team, they would love to read those. And I know a lot of them will comment on our social media posts, and it's great to see. And aside from that, obviously, another big project that we have is our throws facility.
Yep.
And that has the biggest impact. We used to host outdoor meets here for a very long time, and we want to get back to that. We want to provide a true home competition. I know that they see other sports being able to have those home competitions, and right now, the only thing holding us back is our throws facility. We got an amazing donation from an amazing alum, Doug Casey, who has kicked off our throws project. The shot put circle will be done in March, and we just need the hammer and discus cage in order to host a meet, and we're hoping to get some people to help make that a reality.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Steve. As always, go Cards, and have a great rest of your day.
Go Cards.